G'day, ladies and...
Sierra 2 is classified as escort.
Alright, we got an identification straight off the bat. Alright, g'day, ladies and gents, and welcome back to Cold Waters with Mags, and welcome back aboard the USS Grayling Sturgeon-class nuclear attack submarine. So, we have received a new mission. We are intercepting a surface anti-submarine warfare patrol that is also escorting...
Sonar Sierra 3 is classified as merchant.
I love that we're getting auto updates now. That is also escorting a number of surface resupply ships. So the objective, primary objective, is to sink the resupply ships. Secondary objective is to sink the whole damn fleet, which something I can definitely get behind. So we've got a Dubna confirmed, we've got a Kresta II and a Kotlin. I think we might...
Sonar Sierra 1 is classified as escort.
Krivak, so I've only got to get Sierra 4. Again, this is the the quality of my crew has gone up to such a point now. That was like another Kotlin.
Sonar
That we're getting auto updates
escort
on all of the surface units much sooner and at much higher range than we would previously, just because of the amount of tonnage we're sunk. The mod installs an XP system, and in regards to identifying surface vessels, we're doing really well. So we've got them all ID'd now. That looks like the entire pack. Fairly dark on the surface, but we can see a couple of outlines here. Actually, it looks like we've got a bit of ice on the surface as well. I think that's, it's hard to see, but I think that's ice. We are in the area where we'll start getting icebergs and other such things, so we do need to watch that. And it looks like they already have helicopters out searching. So we are going to... So here's our current setup. It's only 81 decibels in the water. It's actually a very quiet ocean. But we've got a moderate duct and a weak layer at 243 feet. So we're going to nick down to 300 feet and get down below the layer. We've already got the ships identified, and we're at a range at the moment where they shouldn't have anything on us. Now, torpedoes. We have not resupplied since the last mission at this point. So we have 3 torpedoes loaded. We still have 6 currently in storage, but we've also got the anti-surface ship, the anti-ship missiles installed on board. Got them. Stumbling over my words here a little bit at the moment. Apologies for that. But yes, we have anti-ship missiles loaded as well, so we are probably going to use them this mission. Obviously, primary targets have to be our thing, so that will be these 2. The Dubna is our first target, and the Andizhan. Andizhan? I'm not sure on the pronunciation of that, but regardless, these 2 need to be sunk. Logo of the USSR there. It's a lot smaller than you think it would be.
Sonar lost contact. Sierra 4, last bearing 06.
Alright, so we just lost the Kotlin. The reason why we've lost the Kotlin is it's probably beginning a turn back at this point, and because it's on the other side of all these ships, their sound is actually disturbing the location of the Kotlin.
Sierra 4, bearing
we know it is, at least at the moment, it's around about there, so we can ignore that. Alright, so...
Dive at 300 feet.
Best way to initiate this attack. I honestly think we need to get torpedoes down. Yeah, we need to... we've only got 2 eyes. Yeah, we need to get 2 torpedoes down alongside and then come up from the side, I think is going to be the best way to take out this convoy. And hitting these 2 ships is going to be our primary target. These are what we're after. So I'm going to ignore the Kotlin and I'm going to ignore the Krivak, and we are going to put 2 torpedoes directly in here. The escorts we can concern ourselves with later. Alright, so we are at depth. We're now below the layer. This will also be part of the reason why we're having trouble picking them up. And look at that. Well, I suppose I sort of knew where it already was, so that's not super impressive, but it is what it is. Alright, so the Krivak is our biggest target here. Negative 37 on active, negative 50 on passive. So it can't hear us. And I'm about to sneeze, pardon me. Alright, I will edit out that sneeze. And if I don't, tell me in the comment section that I didn't edit out that sneeze. God damn it. I hate winter. Right. So, we have no detected dipping sonar in the water at the moment, so torpedo 1
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
is away.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir.
And tube 2 is away. Cool. Direction change on torpedoes. It's actually quite a good look, isn't it? Torpedoes rushing away from the submarine. To think this is how they actually kind of work in real life. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're actually going to dip a little bit further south. I want to make sure these torpedoes are not detected. And this is going to take a little while, so we're probably going to do a little time acceleration here, just to get the torpedoes around. I'm going to send them down. We have 32 minutes roughly when they're launched, so we're down to just over 31 at the moment. We're going to send them down, let them spend the time, and then turn them north. And then we're going to split the difference between the two torpedoes, one into each ship. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether these torpedoes will be enough, but I will try and manually guide them both in so they hit in the rear and hopefully take out the engine compartment. So if these torpedoes do not sink the transports, they at least immobilize them so we can deal with them later. Now, the group has definitely not heard us at this point, so while the Kotlin and the Krivak are coming south, they may be investigating. They may have got a twinkling, maybe, that something is going on, although I find it unlikely. These two are heading north, so these two are just... and nobody's really changing speed. So nobody's alerted. So they have no idea what's going on.
Sonar lost contact. Sierra 4, last bearing 058.
Yeah, once
Contact
again,
faded.
there are Kotlins cutting in and out between the Krivak and these two, so it's getting a little bit of disturbance, and it's probably turning away, so its screw is now facing away from us, so its own hull is actually starting to block some of the sound. That's alright, we know where it is. So, we're going to let time advance forward a little bit and get these torpedoes into position. Alright, so we just got transients from the Krivak. Our torpedoes have been detected. We weren't detected any earlier. We cut the torpedoes a little bit further north just because of the distance involved, which has got them detected early, but we should be fine. The as you can see, the sort of the snaky, slow movements. Up until now, they've had no idea what's going on. They're just all over the shop in terms of their maneuvering. The counterfire, I do believe, would have been at the torpedoes. I don't think they've detected the sturgeon at all. Cheating slightly here because I've got an auto lock on the torpedo, even though I can't see it on the map, but it does appear to be heading this direction. So yes, they are indeed firing on our torpedoes, which is not surprising, but it's more surprising that they heard us with the torpedoes under a thermal layer, and now we have dipping sonar over here popping up as well, so the helicopters have moved to start checking around the torpedoes. So nothing changes, the attack is still going well, and as the fleet has moved forward, a reason why I hooked the torpedoes in, I was a little worried about the distances involved. As you can see, we're now down to 16 minutes and we haven't activated the torpedoes yet. So I was a little bit worried about the ranges, because we are doing a really wide shot. And on top of that, the actual fleet was moving forward, so I didn't have to move the torpedoes around as much to get this rear angle shot. So any counterfire is going to be going this direction, not this direction. So we are nice and safe over here to continue executing the attack. That will change if we decide to use the anti-ship missiles. But we're not there just yet. Now, here's the important part. I haven't actually checked this already. So top speed is 16 knots on the Dubna. And the Andy is 14 knots. Okay, so these two can't even outrun our torpedoes if they're not active. So we don't have to waste It'll take longer to execute the attack slightly, but we don't have to worry about activating them early in order for them to be able to catch up. These cannot outrun our torpedoes. Our torpedoes will catch them anyway, and we can activate these last minute and bring them to the surface and conserve as much of their range as possible to make sure we get these hits. Because this is important. While the speed isn't particularly high, if we spend the time only firing 2 torpedoes at a time under wire control to engage the escorts and leave these 2 go, they will get to a point where we cannot hit them with our torpedoes very quickly, as you've seen in previous videos. And the Sturgeon is not exactly a hot rod. It is while it is faster than both of these boats, it will be a chase to the edge of the map to run them down, and I'm just really not in the mood for that. I'd rather sink the primary targets, and then we can pull apart the rest of these escorts at our leisure, especially since neither one of them, or none of them, of the 4, have any goddamn idea where we actually are at the moment. Alright, so torpedoes are... well, our torpedoes are now past the rest of the fleet. The escorts are down here trying to work out where we are. We can see one of the counter shots now.
Acquired.
And torpedoes are active and in range. So,
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
setting both to surface running. Cool, they're both acquired. Yep, and they've got solid contact with targets. 4 minutes 48 seconds remaining on torpedo 1. 4 minutes 49:48. Yeah, same time available on both. And yes, nothing to interfere with them. The Kotlins are out of position. The Krivak and the Kresta are out of position. These 2, there is nothing stopping us getting these hits in. And they're also completely exposed. If these torpedoes don't kill them, we could go with the anti-ship missiles on both of these and not have to worry about any of these being able to actually apply any missile defense fire or any point defense fire to actually block the missiles. These 2 are dead, even if these torpedoes don't explode. I can pop these missiles out and then just change position, and by the time the escorts get back into a spot, it'll be too late. This is about the worst position that an enemy escort fleet could be in relation to a submarine. Boom, there goes 1.
Sierra 5, last bearing 0, 5, 3, contact breaking up.
So watch this from the point of view of the target ship. Now this is a little bit larger ship. Here it comes.
Con sonar lost contact.
Nope, got them
Sierra
both.
3, last bearing 0, 4, 9, contact breaking up.
A bad day to be in the resupply game right there. Alright, so tubes 1 and 2 reloading. Primary target is now complete, so we are now free to engage the rest of these guys as we choose. Now, they are on our list to take out. We could technically exit right now and we would complete the mission perfectly fine, but I do want to take out the escorts. These were a secondary objective, but they are still an objective. Those Kotlins all the way to the north are going to be a problem to run down, though. Like, those are getting very close to our maximum range, and they can do 38 knots, so they might be an issue. They might be... what have they got? RBU-250, Set 65 torpedoes, Don K radar, you got 30mm 58 guns. They might be our missile targets, I reckon. Yeah, the Krivak here, that's a nasty piece of kit. Yeah, the Kresta is definitely an issue. It's a missile defense system on board. Keep in mind, not all of the systems that these boats actually have are listed here, unfortunately. There are some that aren't. But yeah, but these Kotlins look very, very, very vulnerable to missile fire. So I think Torpedo 1 is already loaded. Right, we'll just fire it to target.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
Shoot 1 away.
Shoot 2-3.
Shoot 2 away.
Aye, sir.
Yeah, what we're going to have to do is, again, don't have to dip the torpedoes rapidly to the south. Or southeast, rather. And then hook them back up, just to make sure I don't get any counterfire down. 1 torpedo for each of these should be enough to take them out. And then I'll conserve the rest of my torpedoes and I'll actually use the anti-ship missiles against these 2. Then we don't have to run them down to the other side, and they seem to be fairly limited on their defenses. I could be wrong, there might be an anti-missile system that's listed in as well. Otherwise, these 130mm guns, they might actually be able to flak fire them against the missiles incoming. But it looks like these are the most likely targets for our missiles. Alright, so, a little bit of time advancement here. These 2 Kotlins are just noping the hell out of the entire engagement zone. They have been running... Well, they're not running at flank. They're only running at 25 of their 38 maximum, but they are both heading north, and they seem to have no interest in turning back south. Not even coming back for survivors, they just don't care. The Krivak is doing pretty much the same thing, floating at around about the same speed. It's floating at 34, which is actually its maximum speed, so it is at flank, trying to get out of here. But the Kresta here seems a little confused. It's just circling around at the moment. The biggest issue I've got at the moment is the dipping sonar is starting to get uncomfortably close to where the sturgeon is, and it's got a reasonably good angle, so hopefully it doesn't pick anything up. The Kresta is searching for targets at the moment though, so I'm turning Torpedo 3 in for it, and we'll set it to surface running. There we go. So it's set to go. And I'm going to start heading... Oh, I still need to parallel a little bit. I'll keep Torpedo 1 heading towards the Krivak. I have no idea what the Kresta's doing. Well, regardless, Torpedo will activate in just a moment, and we'll see how it reacts. There we go, we've got counterfire from the Kresta 1, torpedoes out. It's slowed right down. Is it... Oh no, it's starting to reaccelerate. It knows it's in trouble. Alright. Hopefully we're actually in range for this to lock on instantly. Nope, still a little bit out of range. Oh well. That's alright, torpedo should be running fast enough and still has 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. This actually shows in this mod how far the distances involved are. If you go back and look at the vanilla playthroughs of Cold Waters, or think of your own vanilla playthroughs as well, it was relatively uncommon to get a torpedo down to the 8-minute mark. You'd usually be engaging much closer and you had a lot of extra time. We're taking snapshots out of the sturgeon at the longest range we possibly can, because while if you play this right, it can look relatively easy to get the torpedoes into the right spot to kill. If you mess it up and you get within their kill box, they will destroy you in this mod. It is the one thing that I have noticed more than anything else. The AI is far more dangerous, and you have to be cautious and play this absolutely right. If you mess up in any way, if we were detected by this dipping sonar that keeps popping up at the moment, if it gets close enough to detect the sturgeon, all 4 of these will turn around and they will rain everything they've got. The Krivak in particular has, they've got hedgehogs on some of these, even though they're not listed. I'm pretty sure the Kotlins actually have hedgehogs. We've got rocket-propelled or missile-propelled torpedoes that will be delivered all over the spot. there would be extra helicopters up that would start dropping torpedoes all over the spot, and we would probably get flattened. It's just a matter of making sure you play it perfect. And if you don't, you die. So, and the easiest way to do that is just to engage from a much, much longer range. Alright, so there's no way Nomad dipping sonar is not detecting the torpedo at the moment. So, it knows it's there. Torpedo is still surface running. Just adjusting it for the Kresta. And you know what, it's 13 minutes remaining on Torpedo 1. Yeah, we might activate this one.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Huh. Okay, that's not going to put the Sturgeon at danger, but that shot's a lot further over than I was expecting it to be. Oh, no, that shot's... That might actually be a concern. We'll have to keep a track on that torpedo. We really do have to keep a track on that torpedo. Alright, Torpedo 3 is acquired. Torpedo 1's going to activate. I want its extra speed so we can run down this Krivak, otherwise it might actually be able to outrange the torpedo. And we definitely need to make sure the Krivak is gone before I can initiate a strike on the Kotlins.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 095.
Alright, we've lost the Kotlin. Lost the Krivak, rather. No, sorry, Kotlin. It is the Kotlin that was up there. Alright, torpedo scanning. Come on, reacquire.
Con, fire control,
there it
weapon
goes.
acquired.
Yeah, it's reacquired.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 097.
Alright, so it's moving dead south at the moment. I'm actually going to go active.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
There we go, reacquired. Kresta, yep. Active got past.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 098.
Manually guiding.
Con sonar,
And
lost
impact.
contact. Sierra 6, last bearing
Right.
098. Contact breaking up.
Yeah, looks like we got a shot right just... Yeah, in the rear third. Alright, so that's one of the really dangerous boats out of play. And one of the ones that can deploy helicopters. So, that is good. Now, right, Torpedo 1 is active. Now, and we just lost the wire. Okay, that's a concern. That's a major concern. Alright, so we are going to, in that case, reload for missiles, and we're going to have to pop some range. God, it's 50 kiluyards. $38 kiluyards. The Kotlins are starting to turn back, or at least one of them is. We might... God, yeah, we're going to have to take a range shot at these Kotlins. The Krivak might actually escape this. It's approaching 50, and it's faster, and we haven't got a torpedo after it, and it's got anti-missile systems. So yeah, we may not be able to kill the Krivak, unless it comes back.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
But I think the Kotlins are a fair... shot. So, going to wait for the second torpedo, or the second anti-ship missile rather, to load, and then we're going to pop 2 off. Dipping sonar is getting awfully close. Once we've popped 2, I'm going to pull the towed array, crash dive 1300, and completely change direction. At that point, I think it's time that we start pulling out and actually turn south. Right, yeah, at this point I think the Krivak is pretty much done. I don't think it's going to be a viable target. It is just noping the hell off the battlefield.
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
Sonar is still really close. So we have to split the shots between the Kotlins. It's actually good that they're separating, because if they do have anti-missile systems on board that are unlisted, that means they're not going to be able to combine fire them, which is good. Also makes it easier to separate the targets. Right, so depth 200 feet, we can fire now.
Con, dive at 200 feet, dive I.
So missile 1 is going to go for the southern Kotlin. Missile 2 will go for the northern one.
Shoot 2-1.
Missile away.
Aye, sir. Shoot
Missile
2-2.
away.
Aye, sir.
Should see the second missile leave. There it is. 2 up. Right. Depth.
Make depth
1200 feet.
1250 feet, dive I.
Retracting towed array. And we're going to turn east for the moment. I think will be the best go. Just giving it a second to make sure the towed array is pulled.
Come right to 091 helm I.
And we don't have a bottom that I need to be concerned with. No, we don't. Cool.
Sierra 2, last bearing 042, contact breaking up.
Oh, yep, torpedoes on our location. Yeah, I suspected this would happen.
Make turns for 2.
But it's worth it. We got a confirmed kill.
Maneuvering I.
First Kotlin is down. We're still waiting for the impact for the second missile. It'll take a little bit longer. Reloading.
Sonar lost contact. Sierra 4, last bearing.
Second Kotlin was down, so successful missile strike.
Breaking up.
Loading second Moss in.
Steady course.
And the Krivak is now turning back, so we might be able to actually get a shot off at this, assuming we survive the torpedo attack here. Might take it down to 1300 feet.
Make depth 1300 feet, dive I.
Now I have no idea what depth this torpedo is running at yet. It hasn't actually acquired us.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Yeah, silent. I actually think.
Make depth 1250 feet, dive I.
Make that 1200, not 1300. Go silent again. I think. Yeah, the torpedo was dropped to a set depth, and that depth is shallow enough
Making turns for 5
that we're below it.
Con, sonar, torpedo in the water.
No,
torpedo in the
no, it's
water.
picked us. We
Bearing
got out from
2,
underneath it and got
6,
into its
3.
cone. Okay, so it's detected us now, so that's fine. Actually, before we accelerate past 10 knots,
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering I.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
Come right. Make turns for 26 knots. Maneuvering I.
Con, dive at 1200
All right.
feet, dive I.
Make turns for 26.
Make depth
300.
300 feet, dive I. Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Oh no, we want to surf as fast as we
Make
can. We have to put the
turns
speed
for
on.
26 knots. Maneuvering I.
Alright, heading towards 800 feet. Torpedo has intercepted the Moss. And...
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1.
Come
Last
on, a little
bearing
higher, a
1.
little higher, a little
1.
higher.
Rig ship for
Silence.
ultra quiet.
Torpedoes required us.
Make turns for 26 knots. Maneuvering I.
Alright, we're getting depth charges launched.
Passing 500 feet.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Yep, that's gonna happen.
Passing 300 feet.
Come on. Get above the torpedo.
Passing 200 feet.
Good. Alright, now we need to dive.
Passing 100 feet. Passing 100 feet.
And
Knuckle
torpedo
point.
has reacquired the Moss.
Passing 200 feet. Passing 300 feet.
So we now want to go
Come right
this
to
way as
20.
fast as we possibly can.
Con
And
sonar,
we're going
no longer cavitating.
all the way back to
Passing
1400
500
feet.
feet. Passing 600 feet.
Come left to 216. Helm I.
And this is the point where I really wish we were in a faster boat. Alright, so that's the risk of missile launches. As I said, if you're detected,
Making turns for 2.
shit hits the
6
fan.
knots.
Launching those two missiles immediately gave away our location, and even though we started to change our position, helicopter came in, confirmed our location, initiated an attack directly on top of us. We sort of helped it a little bit there. If we had stayed underneath the torpedo, we probably wouldn't have had to do any torpedo beats there at all, but still, that the AI immediately reacts to it. And we may... I have to decide now if we're going to attack the Krivak, because since it's coming back, it's actually a tempting target.
Come left to
Going south.
179. Helm I.
Con, dive at 1300 feet, dive I.
And
Rig ship
we're
for ultra
silent.
quiet.
We may get picked up again here. Second Moss at ready. Nope, torpedo has self-destructed. Alright.
Come left to 123. Helm I.
Set depth to
Make
1,000
depth
feet.
100
And let's start heading
feet,
in the
dive
general
I.
direction of the Krivak and just let time advance a little bit and see what happens here. Hopefully, our helicopter friend will start tracking the Moss and will chase the Moss all the way over here somewhere so we can start working out how to get a crack at this Krivak. Alright, so, unfortunately the Krivak is not heading directly back towards us. For the moment, we're still getting dipping sonar pop-ups, and it's generally around where we deployed the last two countermeasures, which are still doing their thing at the moment. Even though we've just spent at least, what's it been, about 10 or 15 minutes in time acceleration. They're still burning away there at the moment. And the dipping sonar seems to be still bouncing around this area. So that is where the helicopter is for the moment. It's still up and searching. The Krivak is not going to close. So we have 2 missiles remaining. I'm going to throw both these missiles at the Krivak, and then I am going to run. Because at the range as it's at the moment, that's about as close as it's going to get. It's down to 32 kiloyards, which is within range of our torpedoes, but it's still running at flank. It's still running at 34 knots, and it's going to start pulling away at the moment. It'll outrange our torpedoes still. So we need a way to reach out and touch it, and the only way I've got left is these missiles. This is going to reveal our location to the helicopter, of course. And that means we're probably going to have to do some more torpedo beats, but it'll be easier to deal with an airdrop torpedo than it will be to try and run down this Krivak. So, and we've been carrying these missiles for long enough. It's time to actually put them to some use. So, we need to set our depth back to 200 feet.
Make depth 200 feet.
Now, we have not got the towed array out at the moment. In fact, the only way we can really see the Krivak so accurately is the fact that it's running at 34 knots, so it's making all the noise in the world on the surface at the moment.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
The dipping sonar is moving further that way, so what I might do... might reload that to a Moss as well. What I might do is fire the 2 missiles, launch a Moss north, and then dive south, because I'm going to be looking to leave the area anyway after this, once these 2 missiles are gone. And hopefully the helicopter will follow the surface depth, or the 200-foot depth Moss making a noise on the surface, rather than following me diving down to about 1,200-1,300 feet and heading south. And hopefully it'll split. So, it's down to 31.9. It'll probably get down to about 31.5, and then it's going to start increasing distance again.
Torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
Alright, 2 ready to go. Oh, we are not at depth yet. We're still too shallow. Still too deep, rather. We've got to get up to 200 feet. Alright, so current depth, 480 now. Krivak's at 31.7. Helicopter is close. The helicopter's response time is probably going to be no longer than 60 seconds, so we get to get 2 missiles out, launch the Moss, and then start diving. Probably pop a countermeasure at our exact location as well, just to cause a little bit of confusion at the location. Make it noisy and hard to detect which way we actually went, and make the Moss the primary target. 300 feet. Reason we've got to bring it up to 200 feet, for those who don't know, these cannot be launched any deeper than 200 feet. So that is as deep as we can be when we let these out. It's a shame the thermal layer wasn't a little bit shallower. If the thermal layer was at about 180 feet, we could actually launch these from below the thermal layer, which would mess with the sound propagation. It would still give away our location on the surface, but it would be less of a sonar pinpoint as well. Alright, 196. Missile up.
Shoot 2-1.
Missile 1 away.
Aye, sir. Shoot
Missile
2-2.
2 away.
Aye, sir.
Countermeasure deployed.
Shoot 2-3.
Moss launched.
Aye, sir.
Come
Turn
right
south.
to 180. Helm aye.
Set depth 1,200 feet.
1200 feet, dive aye.
And I'm going to go to flank to initiate the dive as fast as possible.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Yep, we will be cavitating, but there's a lot of cavitation on the surface at the moment. There's a MOS and there's a countermeasure deployed as well. We won't be cavitating for long.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
There it is, Krivak's turning back. It's detected the missile launch. It's probably firing on location.
Steady course.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Must go deeper, must go deeper. There's 900 feet. Going silent at 1,000 feet.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Well, don't really need ultra quiet to be perfectly honest. We just
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
still need to get these countermeasures and torpedoes loaded up. Alright, now all we can do is wait for a response. Let's keep an eye on us down here on the lower map.
Con sonar. Con
Whoa, missiles landed.
5 knots.
Well, if it did have anti-missile systems, it didn't use them. Alright, so that's the entire surface fleet done. So the only thing we've got left to concern ourselves with is the helicopter. That was fast. Alright, that worked better than expected, and we have not been attacked. Although it did look like the Krivak launched something beforehand, so it's potentially a rocket torpedo coming in on our location. We just have to wait and see if anything... Yep, there it is. It just landed. And it tracks south, not north. Alright, so it didn't track the MOS.
Con, torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
Here's the question. If we close distance onto this torpedo,
7, helm I.
try and get underneath it, what depth did they set it to? It is diving. It's continuing to dive. Yeah, I've got a bad feeling about this, that they might have
7, 9, helm I.
nailed our depth perfectly.
Come right to 202, helm I.
Ready for countermeasure deployment. I'm just going to keep heading directly south.
Come right to 179.
Hopefully
helm I.
it's still shallow enough that we will not be inside of its detection cone when it finally sets its depth. However, if I'm wrong, I don't want to be directly underneath it when it acquires me, because it'll be at point blank range and I won't have time to maneuver. At this position, I should be able to pop countermeasures, get a MOS off, and go to flank, and hopefully be able to change depth enough to dodge it. I want to go deeper. Let's go to 13.
Make depth 1300 feet, dive I.
Okay, no acquisition on that turn. Dipping sonar's completely vanished as well, so the helicopter's just disappeared. It's just this torpedo is our only issue. Now, like the airdrop torpedoes, these don't last particularly long. So, evading it shouldn't be an issue. No detection on that pass. Cool. Alright, I'm going to change direction slightly to follow the circle.
Come left to 150, helm I.
You remember when I described the front of this thing, it's a cone. That's why I mentioned the detection cone.
Helm I.
so much. When you see the torpedoes fired from the top-down map, there's a triangle shape that indicates the range in the horizontal that the torpedoes can detect.
Torpedo in the
there
water.
it is.
Torpedo in the water. Bearing 052.
The flank. Countermeasure deployed.
Shoot tube 3. Aye, sir.
And so that was our second last Moss.
Come left to 100.
Torpedoes lost us. Alright. When it's lost us, we want to go all the way to the surface as quickly as we can before the torpedo can oh, nope, torpedo is on us. How?
Flooding in the engine room.
Oh, shit. Shit. We have taken a hit.
Passing 1,100 feet.
Current speed. Still 22.
Passing 1,000 feet.
We need to get shallow. We're so deep at the moment we could crush from that.
900 feet.
Repair parties are already
Passing
on it.
800 feet.
We're still maintaining 24 knots.
Passing 700
That
feet.
was not giving us an indication that it was tracking, and it still tracked our location.
Passing 600 feet. Passing 500 feet.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Yep, that's fine. I just don't want to slow down for the moment.
Passing 300 feet. Passing 200 feet.
Set depth.
Make depth 100 feet.
Set
Dive
depth
high.
periscope. Alright. Down to 5
Make
knots.
turns forward. Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
Alright, we've actually breached the surface. Which is a concern because there is dipping sonar. That helicopter has not completely gone away. Alright, flooding is under control. Status.
Con maneuvering.
Hull is down to 4%. That was almost a kill. Yeah, it's time for us to go home now.
Right to 161. Helm aye.
Yeah, that was almost a total loss. Hopefully that submarine, that helicopter did not detect us, because otherwise we are really done.
Come right to 180. Helm aye.
Yeah, we're going to make 5 knots and we're going to slip away very quietly out of here. And this is going to be a fairly slow exit from the zone. Hopefully the helicopter did not detect us. Hopefully the helicopter is too concerned by all the mosses. But mission complete. We're going back to Holy Lock. I hope. Oh, alright, what a mission, and an almost very tragic end to our campaign there. So, we got the Krivak, we got 2 Kotlins, we got the Dubna, we got the Addy, and we got the Kresta, 35,030 tons. We have 5 Mark 48s and 1 Moss remaining, so we were due a resupply anyway, but we've only got 4% left on our hull. So this is we head straight back to Holy Lock, because if something so much as sneezes in our general direction right now, we could suffer a hull breach. And that hull is not going away for the rest of this patrol either, so we can no longer dive deep without flooding ourselves and killing ourselves. We are incredibly lucky at being below 1,000 feet and taking a torpedo like that. That should have killed us and very nearly did. We're really, really friggin' lucky. At the very least, I hope this was the mission target. It better have bloody been. Mission update. Good to hear you intercepted and destroyed the enemy replenishment resources. Keep up the good work. Stand by for new orders. Well, hopefully the new orders are go home. Alright, supply ships hit. NATO warships and submarines have taken up several new strategic positions, including some around Iceland in response to significantly reduced Soviet naval activity. Sources close to the Pentagon say that the war is taking a heavy toll on enemy naval operations. Yeah, if you look at my kill counter in the video description, yeah, I would say that's correct. And their supply lines continue to be targeted by NATO forces. Yes, they do. Recent NATO gains at sea have decreased the numbers of warships needed to maintain and control several regions. Many vessels from these regions have rapidly been reassigned to escort duties to better protect convoys carrying much needed arms, armor, and men from the United States to the United Kingdom. Alright, this is good. Return immediately to Holy Loch, Scotland for repairs and to replenish stores. Good, we finally got a mission to say come home, and yes, we absolutely need it. So, alright ladies and gents, we're going to end this one here. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you very much for watching. I'm going to take us home to Holy Loch now, and we'll get ready for our next patrol. So, until next time, take care.